Hi guys and girls, I'm Karel Segers from the Story Department and I'm back from the story workshop in the Blue Mountains. I think it was one of the most productive ones, and that has to do with a number of things. We were fairly focused, as you know. Before we went there, we had the objective of coming back with an outline and a written scene, and then we realized that logline needs to be part of the whole pack all the time. Now today I'm going to talk about something about loglines that may tend to be forgotten. I recently worked on a screenplay where we had put significant work in the preparation, significant work in the concept, and ultimately we came up with a logline that was pretty powerful and very promising. So the team went on and wrote the screenplay, and when I read the script, I realized something. It's not enough to be able to write kick-ass loglines. Once you are in the story, you need to follow that logline, because we don't do this for intellectual entertainment, we do this for a reason. So let's go into the detail of what I mean by this. So in the title of this video, you saw that the logline can be the fix for the hero, but the outline can be the fix for the passive writer. What do I do? What do I mean by that? Well, let's go back. Remember how we looked at the three things you need to be delivering as a successful screenwriter. So first of all, the idea, the spark, something that appeals in the very concise form that the idea comes to you. It should already have something appealing. And then secondly, you need to develop that into a story. And finally, you express that into an industry standard formatted screenplay. So here are the documents that you need to be able to create for that: logline, outline, and then script. Now, as I said, even when you've done this work, even when you've written the logline and your logline is fantastic, and then you write your outline and then you write your script, it's still possible to forget about the mission. So the logline gives your hero a clear goal. The outline should give you a clear goal. So the logline is the bridge between the core elements of your concept, being the character, the event that kickstarts the story, that triggers the story, and the action that carries the second act. So in the outline, in the one-page synopsis or the 10-page treatment or the 25-page treatment, you're going to develop that idea and you're going to give it legs, you're going to give it meat, you're going to add on the promise that was written in that one sentence. And you need to come up with the goods. You need to live up to that promise. And what I'm talking about now is the action part. So say, going back, I always like to go back to the logline for Jaws, and we're going to specifically focus on the second half of the film where Chief Brody goes out into the ocean to kill the shark. So the logline would be something along the lines of: when a swimmer gets killed, a small-town sheriff must take responsibility and go into the ocean to kill the monster. Now, you could mention his fear of water in this context, but I'm not too fussed about that. But most of that second half of the film, the sheriff is actually out in the ocean, on the boat, to kill the shark. Many screenplays that I read, the hero doesn't follow up on what the goal is. It's really important. So the action part of the logline must carry most of your outline and ultimately most of your screenplay. So it's not enough to have this wonderful logline sitting around. You need to keep it as a guide. And that's where Robert McKee quoted Paddy Chayefsky, who apparently sticky taped his statement for his novels on his typewriters to make sure that he kept focused. And that's exactly what you need to do. Too many scripts that I read have a wonderful first act, a very clear trigger moment, an inciting incident or a call to adventure, whatever you want to call it, and then a hero who formulates the goal. We know what that hero wants to do, and then we enter Act 2 and then they don't do it. We go off to a different character, or they do different things, or they don't do anything at all, and you end up with a passive protagonist. So logline essentially sets up what the character is going to do in the second act, but then you need to fulfill that. You need to actually execute that. And then in the third act, there's a final action and a resolution. Because I have read scripts where there was virtually no second act. You know, it'd be interesting, because recently we watched, with some students, we watched, I think it was Rocky number 4, the one with Dolph Lundgren. It's a good example of a story without a second act. There's really nothing happening. There's the goal, there's preparation, and then there's the final match, the final game. But the preparation itself is very repetitive and very minimal. The middle part of that story, there's really not much happening. And that's exactly the flaw that I come across in many, many screenplays. So don't do that. So what is it that you need to do? You need to keep your characters on the case. In the first act, you set up what they're supposed to do. And then in the third act, you do it. It is that simple. Okay, I hope that advice helps you and you take it to heart. So do keep writing the loglines. They're critically important. But then when you're writing the outline or the screenplay, make sure that what you're doing is elaborating on the action part of your logline. And I know maybe your story is not an action movie, but that doesn't matter. Any film is about action. Any character is about revealing character through action. And it is through fulfilling the promise of the logline that we get to find out what that character is about. So now go and write. And if you enjoyed this video, you think it was useful, please give us a like and maybe subscribe. That's what I prefer. Thank you and see you in our next video. Bye.